Well, hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to Rhys's Pieces. I am, as always, Rhys, and today I'm doing one of my favorite little warm-up exercises, and I'm redrawing one of my oldest art pieces. Now, it technically isn't my oldest piece of art by a long shot, but it is the first drawing I ever uploaded online. DeviantArt, of course, back in the golden year of 2012. I was 14, and most of the aspects of it that read okay are because it was done directly referencing the Legend of Zelda Four Swords manga I'd checked out from the public library. I'd just gotten Prismacolor markers, I was a weeb, it hurts a little to look at now, but for whatever goddamn reason, folks encouraged me to keep on learning, and it really motivated me to get to where I am. So today I want to break down what exactly we can improve about the original piece, and I'm gonna do a little redraw. Let's start by breaking down this first piece. Like I mentioned before, I just set the book in front of me and tried to recreate the art as well as I could when I first did this, so when I drew this the first time around, I was paying more attention to breaking the body into shapes and following proportions someone else had already stylized. Because I was young and still developing my skills, the end results, as we can see, are arms that are different lengths from one another, strangely angled legs, and pretty much every weapon is flat and being held at uncomfortable angles. But that's not to say it sucks! I've just got a better understanding of how to draw people now, and so these are all things that I can note to correct this time around. The other upgrade's gonna come from rendering. The benefit of working digitally versus with a very limited marker selection is an infinitely wider range of color options, and gives me access to better blending options than Prismacolor on copy paper provided. That plus a better understanding of lighting and anatomy, plus a little more time put into shading and highlighting, that's some good looking math, baby. And I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the end equation. My main goal going into this was to pay more attention to limbs and perspective, to make sure that everything was moving in a way that made sense, and to make sure I was giving them all unique but consistent expressions in body language. Also, I made their hair fluffier. You gotta make them fluffy. There's no other option. I swapped out the stippling background for a watercolor splash with a similar color pinwheel behind him. I thought it was a little cleaner, and I think if young me had access to that brush, he would have used it too. I mentioned at the start of this video that this is one of my favorite exercises. Finding your old art and giving it a spin with your new skills is a great way to see how you've come with your progress. And as somebody who definitely doubts my abilities as an artist, it's always good to give yourself concrete evidence that you are still growing, even when you feel stagnant. On top of that, it's beneficial to do for old and more recent pieces alike. We can... recent pieces. God damn it. God, that wasn't supposed to be a pun. Fuck. It's super easy to autopilot and fall into some easy shortcuts with our art, and going back and making yourself repeat the process to improve on it can help you catch things to look out for and improve in your next drawings. Whether you want to fully render a whole new piece, just try resketching the pose of an old piece, or you want to recolor some old line art, the best way to grow your art is to consistently be challenging yourself to keep improving, and this multitasks it with encouraging yourself and catching mistakes you might be making without realizing it. Win-win-win. If you're interested in what kind of studies and practices I did to grow my art from 2012's starting point to where we are now, my strongest learning resource and a tool I still utilize is when I study from reference photography and from artists that inspire me. Keeping one foot in breaking down the shapes of how bodies and muscles and faces move, in combination with taking inspiration and motivation from artists whose work I look up to, are both great studies, and I try to take time, if not every week, then every month, to sit down and look between the work I've made most recently and the kind of work I'd like to create and see what differences I find and what I want to work on improving. If this is something y'all would like me to break down a little more, I'd love to make a little tutorial, but I also don't want to clog up the speed paint, so let me know in the comments if that tutorial is one you'd like to see. With all that said, I hope you've enjoyed this redraw. If you want to see the final piece outside of this video, find me on Instagram or Twitter at Rhys Art Pieces, or if you'd like to get a print of this piece or any of my other art, I'm also Rhys Art Pieces on Etsy. Shameless plugs done. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here and enjoyed and you want to join us for more art shenanigans, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And as always, have a great day, eat some great food, and make some great art. Bye-bye!